Good afternoon, everyone. I am your host, Saharsh Damani, and I thank all of you for joining us for this one of a kind interactive session. A visionary with great ideas and an innovative approach. A visionary leader with an eye on future of India's economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have with us Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and MSME. Thank you, Gadkari ji, for agreeing to have an interactive session with auto dealers who keep the nation on move. May I now request our immediate past president, Shri Ashish Harshraj Kale, to kindly deliver his gratitude note. Ashish ji, over to you.
Good afternoon, sir. On behalf of FADA, I would like to welcome Shri Nitinji Gadkari, Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and MSME, and our country's most dynamic minister today, who has taken out time to interact with us and also understand our issues and lend support. First and foremost, I would like to place on record our deepest gratitude to Nitinji on behalf of all the auto dealers in the country for your strong support to FADA, especially during the past 2 years. In October 2018, in our AGM at Nagpur, which you had inaugurated, sir, as a chief guest, you had promised the dealer community that you will ensure road development at a pace never seen before, which in turn would boost the auto industry. The fast-paced road development can be seen by the entire nation, and no doubt one of the biggest beneficiaries has been the auto industry, and therefore auto dealers too, especially in areas where there was earlier very poor road connectivity. It is also helping revive the weak truck demand post the corona pandemic, especially tippers, because of the speed of road construction. You had also ensured that you had also promised that you will ensure a scrappage policy for the country, which would help the auto industry. And from the latest press reports, it can be seen that the scrappage policy has already been cleared by your ministry and awaiting the Honorable Prime Minister's approval. You had promised to us more involvement of FADA in all auto-related initiatives of your ministry. And apart from the nomination of FADA to the CMVR committee, you have also included a FADA nominee in the road safety committee of each and every district in the country. But most importantly, you had committed to us that very soon you will ensure RTOs will have no role in the process of vehicle registration. And today we are all witness that the new CMVR, which was rolled out under your leadership and will get adopted in January across the country, will ensure a registration process with almost zero interference for the dealer and the customer. In February 2020, at the Auto Summit in Delhi, which you inaugurated, we had placed forward our request to be re-included in MSME as we qualified in every parameter as an MSME. And you had committed to us that you will ensure auto dealers are included in MSME. And very recently, sir, auto dealers have been uploaded as a category in the Udyam portal and just awaiting the government order to start registrations as MSME. This will benefit more than 70% dealers across the country, especially two-wheelers and tractor dealers of small and medium size. And last but not the least, but when due to sudden lockdown, dealers could not complete all the registrations of BS4 vehicles by 31st March, and FADA approached the Supreme Court. You understood the dealer situation, and under your guidance, the Ministry of Road Transport supported our stand in the Honorable Supreme Court, and FADA was able to get relief for majority of the BS4 vehicles, thereby saving many dealers from financial difficulty. कुछ साल पहले नागपुर का एक प्रोग्राम मुझे याद है जहां आपने कहा था, जो मैं बोलता हूं वो मैं करके दिखाता हूं. मेरे समान हर एक नागपुरकर ये जानता है और मानता भी है. पर आज देश भर के सभी डीलर्स भी मानते हैं कि आपने जो भी हम सबको प्रॉमिस किया वो कर दिखाया. एक बार फिर मैं हम सबकी ओर से आपको आभार प्रकट करता हूं और अनेक अनेक धन्यवाद देता हूं. हमें विश्वास है कि आपका आशीर्वाद FADA और सभी ऑटो डीलर्स पर हमेशा बना रहेगा. Thank you, Nitin ji, for being our friend, philosopher and guide like an elder of the family during these difficult times that auto dealers have faced in the past 2 years, and always listening to our issues and helping us with a solution. Look forward to your continued support to FADA, and I will now request our President of FADA, Shri Vinkesh Gulati, to give his presidential address and apprise you of current and future activities of FADA. Over to you, Vinkesh.
Namaskar, sir. Respected Gadkari ji, FADA Executive Committee, Governing Council, and dealer friends. Good afternoon. It gives me immense pleasure that our federation is hosting a one of its kind interactive session with none other than our nation's most dynamic minister, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, Minister for Road Transport and Highways and MSME. Thank you, Gadkari ji, for accepting our invite to interact with our fraternity. Sir, there are 350 plus dealers who have joined this session on WebEx platform, and another 400 viewers are live on our Facebook page and the website. On behalf of 15,000 auto dealerships across the length and breadth of this great nation, I thank you for bringing auto dealers under the ambit of MSME. Now dealers will also be able to reap benefit of MSME and get their input to the nation's growth. Sir, I would also like to thank you for your enormous support which you gave to FADA during our BS4 matter in Supreme Court. In fact, 2 days back, the Supreme Court order for registering vehicles in Delhi also came in our favor. All thanks to your ministry's support. This is a huge relief to both dealers as well as customers who purchase these vehicles. In fact, customers will now be able to enjoy their personal mobility with a free mind. So the auto retail industry in India has around 15,000 dealerships, which in turn have 26,500 outlets. Together we employ more than 45 lakh people, that too not displacing them from their home. To give an example how large our employment base is, India's top passenger car manufacturers employs 40,000 people and their top 8 dealers employs more than them. The retail segment of automotive business has invested over 40,000 crores and contributes around 95,000 crores by way of GST, road tax and other levies to the central and state exchequers. Its spin-off on insurance, finance and oil sectors need no overemphasis. With minimum setup cost of 1,50,000 crores, 60,000 acres of land and investment of around 2,25,000 crores, auto retail industry is the largest in each state's economy, thus the largest for India as a whole. On behalf of the auto retail sector, I hence request you to kindly help us in getting an industry status. Once industry status is granted, the sector will be aided with better and affordable financing options, as setting up dealerships are very capital intensive in nature. This will also benefit us to avail some other tax benefits, easier access to domestic and global funds. It will also boost the confidence of the sector and will result in upscaling of dealerships and workshops and will bring in newer investment. Sir, the CMVR is a concurrent subject and its implementation in entirety is something we are looking forward to. With each state interpreting the CMVR rules differently, it has affected ease of doing business for all of us. We urge you to kindly get the same notified as soon as possible. We also urge you that states should not be allowed to modify or make changes in Vahan portal and process, and there should be one rule for the entire country in terms of vehicle registration. Our Honorable Prime Minister has already made GST a success by bringing one nation, one tax. Road tax is something which varies from state to state. We urge you that there should be a uniform road tax structure across the country. So one nation, one tax on the road front also. So for many of us, sales have been down around 30%. Even our service department, the bread and butter of our dealerships, are experiencing the brunt of slackening customer demand. We are keenly awaiting the announcement of an attractive incentive-based scrappage policy, and I'm sure you will give some more clarity on where it stands today. COVID has taught us to make tough choices to ensure our dealerships survive. Decisions such as right sizing, financial prudence, and adapting to the new normal have been difficult, but will eventually result in robust business models and improved efficiency. However, we are a resilient industry and automobiles remain an aspirational purchase. Despite these current challenges, India has the potential to become the third largest automobile market in the world. We can truly fulfill our government's vision of $5 trillion economy and make India a global leader in automotive. if our ecosystem works in unison and your support and guidance is always there. I'm sure with your continuous support and guidance that you have given in the past will continue in present and in future as well. India today has a passenger vehicle penetration of 22 cars per thousand, which is way below the other places like New Zealand 774, Australia 740, or even China 164 per thousand. To even reach the levels that China has achieved, India needs to add at least 50,000 more auto dealers, and that too in just next to 10-15 years, which will result in requirement of additional workforce employed by the sector to the tune of 1 crore. For all of this, we request the government to back our sector and support us wholeheartedly. We are not only one of the biggest employment generators, but also continuously skilling our workforce to keep them updated with the ever-changing technology. Hence, to make the sector faster growth, we request you to take bold steps. Auto industry is the barometer of any country economic performance. If the industry is doing good, the nation economy is also doing good. One of the largest nations in the world, the United States of America, is always and continuously gives credit to the automobile industry as well, as the auto dealership spread across the country as one of the biggest contributors to the nation building and economic prosperity. I request you to look at auto industry and especially auto dealership as one of the spokes in your wheel of growth. I assure you of our continuous contribution for inclusive growth of the economy and out nation as a whole. And thank you again for coming us, interacting with us, and blessing us always. Can I request our Vice President, Mr. Manish Raj Singh Yania, to please introduce our Honorable Minister.
Good afternoon, everyone. Shri Nitin Ji Gadkari, Union Minister of Road Transport and Highways, as well as MSME, is MCOM and holds a degree in law and diploma in business management. Shri Nitin Ji Gadkari pioneered the concept of public-private partnership in infrastructure development and upgraded norms of the construction industry. He has promoted water management, solar energy projects, and the use of modern technology and management tools in agriculture. He is a very passionate person for biofuel and non-conventional sources of energy. He is one of the most forward-looking ministers and brought a huge dynamism in his ministry. I request everyone to warmly welcome our dear Minister, Shri Nitin Ji Gadkari, to give his blessings.
Mr. Saharsh Damani, CEO of FADA, my friend Ashish Kale, Mr. Vinkesh Gulati, President of FADA, all executive members and dear friends. First of all, I am giving my special thanks to all of you for the way in which we are facing the acute problem of COVID-19. Actually, automobile industry, dealers, all are facing crucial problem. But in this crisis period, with the positivity and self-confidence, the auto industry, the retail industry has really performed very nicely with the confidence. That is really a great achievement for the country, for which I am giving my special thanks to all of you. Regarding your problems related with the ministry, first of all, your major problem was related with the MSME definition, where we decided to include auto dealers into the definition, for which now you will get the benefit as a MSME. Now this point is clear, already I signed the file. Regarding the steps of the industry taking the entire procedure for registration faceless and paperless. That is my mission. But you know that this is a subject in the concurrent list and where the state government is equally important. We are of the firm opinion that we need transparency, time-bound decision-making process, and corruption-free system. That is the reason I always insisting on making the system transparent, time-bound, result-oriented, and corruption-free. We are working on that. But my suggestion is you should meet with the state government officials and the ministers and try to convince them. One of the important thing is now we are giving special permission for two-wheeler as a taxi. The two-wheeler on electric and biofuel, we are allowing that they can be used as a taxi with the electronic meter. We don't want to launch this scheme in Delhi, Mumbai, Calcutta, Chennai. But the small places where people want to go to on station, on airport, it can be really useful for them, for one person. So now already we have finalized the rules and regulation and everything for that. My suggestion is if you can initiate this, it is going to give you new and good business. At the same time, we have now finalized the rules regulation related with the trolley buses, two joint buses on electric. They are cost effective. So again, that will generate more business. The most important thing is where I want to suggest you that you should think in a new direction with a new vision. Now, as far as the London transport model, bus model is the one of the successful model. Public transport, which government undertaking, state government undertaking, is now becoming not a success story. Somewhere it is a success story, but by and large, it is not a success story. So idea in London transport, which we are going to launch, that even you can make a joint venture with an operator and you can launch your buses on the city area and the state transport, where they will, every bus in the city, maximum they run bus up to 200 to 225 to 250 kilometer per day, and where they will pay you exactly kilometer wise. So the ticket and other thing, that responsibility will be the responsibility of municipal corporation or the government. So only you have to run the bus and you will get your money. This is a very attractive model, and this model can give you too much revenue. It's economically viable. We can think about to make the model more effective, more profitable by using electric buses, by using biofuel buses, by using electric double-decker buses. Even we can go for trolley buses. Where you can invest in it, you will get good returns. Now, for example, I'm giving you an example in Mumbai. The diesel bus best, which they are running, their cost is 115 rupees per kilometer. In Nagpur, we have at that time ethanol buses, air conditioned, good buses. Our cost was 69 rupees per kilometer, 79 rupees per kilometer. And now presently in Pune, they have taken electric buses. The cost coming is 50 rupees per kilometer, because electric as a fuel is very cheap. So my suggestion is, if you can go for this line, it is going to help to you for selling more buses. At the same time, you can make investment in it and you will get good returns. These are the new options where already in the Nagpur, we have converted city buses, diesel buses on bio-CNG. And that is also giving good result. So ultimately, now within 1 month, we will convert our 450 buses. And all vehicles of municipal corporations, starting from commissioner, mayor, every vehicle, we are going to convert into CNG. So that is a great saving for the corporation. 60 crore loss where we are every year we have. But after making this, our loss will be removed. So this type of even new project you can take in your area, because expansion in business is very important. And that is the innovation approach for development of business is very important. I feel that this can be a good idea. I'm just giving you an example and it is also because Nagpur is my constituency. So I am telling you now, the government has cleared our proposal for broad gauge metro. So now the proposal is from the metro. It is very, very good economically viable project. The construction cost for standard gauge metro in Nagpur, in Mumbai, in Pune, in Delhi, comes to approximately 350 crore per kilometer. But this my new project, that is to be broad gauge metro, that cost comes only to 5 crore rupees per kilometer. So the broad gauge metro will be of rolling stock of 8 dabbe, where one will be restaurant and there will other 6 will be rolling stock of double decker with AC chair car first class and AC second class. So by which we want to start it from Nagpur to Amravati via Bandera, Amravati to Narkhed, and Narkhed coming to Nagpur. Again, we will start it from Nagpur to Gondia, Gondia to Vadsa, Vadsa to Chandrapur, to coming to Nagpur. Then again we start Ramtek, from Ramtek to Nagpur and Nagpur to Chandrapur, and even Nagpur to Amravati. Again it can go. Then one is started from Amravati, from coming to Nagpur and going up to Chinwada. And third is coming from Amravati, coming to Nagpur, going up to Vadsa. So we are using existing broad gauge railway system, signal system, stations and everything. The speed of this metro is 160 kilometer per hour, and present speed of passenger is 40 kilometer per hour, and express speed is 60 kilometer per hour. And this metro which we are now want to launch, they immediately take the speed. So presently from Nagpur to Vadodara it takes 1 hour 15 minutes, but after that it will be only 35 minutes. Nagpur to Amravati will be 1 hour 15 minutes. So naturally it will only stop 1 minute to second and every station, and it go ahead. So this now I am planning to involve the people of Nagpur, trade, business and industry. That just like we have buses from Nagpur to Pune, Khurana travels, Prasanna travels, all type of travels are here. In the aviation we need Indigo, we have Jet Airways, or Jet Airways not there, but SpiceJet. On the same line, we are going to launch this broad gauge metro, and every entrepreneur will purchase 2 metros and he will run that. It's really economically viable. So now the public transport on electricity is the need of the country. We are facing a lot of ecology and environment problem. And now you know that what are the problem we are facing in Delhi because of the air pollution. Already Supreme Court has invited me to present this new policy, new innovation in the transport sector. The different type of fuel we are using, ethanol, methanol, biodiesel, bio-CNG, electric. Then we are using now hydrogen fuel cell also we are working. So things are moving fast. We are now going for public transport system on electricity. So the people like who are already established as a dealer and getting reasonably good profit, you can think about the expansion of your new business with the new vision. So my request is for the transport sector, you should think about it. The other important point is our automobile industry is doing excellent job. Their turnover is increased. Actually, in COVID period also, some of the industry, they have increased their export. Our two-wheeler business, particularly from Bajaj, TVS, Hero, they are doing good business. The Hyundai has also increased their business compared with the last year. So our export is day by day increasing. And my vision and my mission is to make India a world #1 manufacturing hub of automobile hub in India. For that reason, we are now taking lot of efforts for electric and other different type of technology. For that reason, we need to develop vendors. That is very important. And now I requested all the automobile industry that don't import material from the China and other country. Encourage Indian people, give them opportunity. If they can take good volume, they will give reasonable cost. And for that reason, now we are now planning to develop technology centers. We have 18 technology centers and 60, 70 sub centers also. Now the private technology centers are there who can make innovative technology, who can make innovative product designs, and it is very important for the automobile industry. So different products or what are the automobile industry's requirement which they want. They are whatever the product they are importing. You can find out the way out whether your dealers can start the business where you can supply them as a vendor the products which they are importing. I feel that it can be possible. So here, this is exactly the principle of Atmanirbhar Bharat. By adopting new technology, new innovation, new research, you can expand your business. You can get more profits. Every time you have to now, it don't need me to tell you about the importance, but every time the company has introduced new models. Why they introduce new models? Because the choice of the consumer is every time something new. So in your own business also, if you can expand, you can diversify related with your business, you can make more business, and that can be really very much useful for you. Regarding the scrapping policy, my work is over. It is now with the appropriate authority. I feel that as early as possible it will clear, and 100% it is going to give a good support to the industry. Pending registration of BS4 vehicles, I personally not too much convinced about your arguments. But in the COVID period and for the other reason, I support you. My suggestion is go for long-term good policy, transparent policy. If you want to make shortcut, cut you short. I know how the businessman is taking the advantage of the policies, and that is one of the reason that when it was known to them, but still the BS4 vehicles, they manufacture, you purchase, and that creates a lot of problem. Fortunately, Supreme Court help us and that we resolve that problem. The various other initiatives also ministry is taking regarding state transport and bus transport, one nation, one card. We are going to launch, and that is also a good business. You can make a joint venture with an appropriate company. The Karnataka Transport is successfully doing the experiment with the cooperation of World Bank and Siemens. You can take the technology and take it to the all cities and the state transport. That can be possible. We are taking a lot of various other initiatives from the ministry. He is working on for helping the augment demand of motor vehicles and how we can upgrade this industry, how we can create more employment potential. That exactly we are trying to do it. Regarding the CMVR rules implementation, it's in process. I don't know the exact situation now, but we are definitely on that. Already our act is also passed, new Motor Vehicle Act, and we are also in the process of implementation. One thing which I will request you related with the road safety. As an individual in your city, as a car dealer, distributor, you can participate and support the programs from NGOs, from social organization for this particularly road accidents. It is very, very bad. Every year, 5 lakhs accidents and 1,50,000 deaths, where we need your active participation and support. That is very important. We need 4 things are very important. Engineering, that is automobile engineering is very important, where we are also one of the important stakeholder in it. So every time the automobile manufacturing company are improving their technology, but at the same time you need to guide consumer properly that it should prevent their life from the accident. At the same time, we are now making road engineering also in a good way. We are taking a lot of preventive measures related with road engineering. The third important is education. For the education schools, colleges, we need cooperation to create awareness about the rules of the road and other things. And the fourth important thing is emergency medical services, and where you can cooperate by giving ambulance, giving support to the accidents, particularly the people who are facing accidents, where you can be helpful for them. There are accidents where we need to cut the vehicles. We don't have that much engineering capability. If you can have a car or a bus, minibus, where there will be all type of equipment by which you can immediately go there and cut the car or the bus and save the life of the people, it will be nothing like that. My suggestion is, with the cooperation of department, and a consultant and a technology consultant. If you can prepare a bus which is full of all equipments, and if the accident is there, it is just like a fire brigade, just like ambulance, you are immediately that bus will go there and will help to the people. That is also can be a great social service for the from your side to the society. I know that your lot of people are doing lot of good job for the society. Your social consciousness, social awareness, and social responsibility every time indicates you are contributing for road safety also, making a campaign for road safety. I know Ashish many times doing lot of things in Nagpur. So I always support him. This type of initiative is very important from all the stakeholders, all the dealers, all particularly in their area. If they can take the initiative, it can be a great social service from your side. I am giving my all best wishes to all of you. The future is good. 100% your sale is going to increase. You will get good profits. With the appropriate vision, you also diversify your business. Related with your business, some diversification, you can take your decisions. It can again generate more profit for you and more business for you. I am giving my special thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. Namaskar.
Thank you for your address, Minister, sir. Your vision for India and suggestions for auto and especially auto retail. We will, I'm sure all the members who are present here will duly look into it. As you said, innovation and advancement is the key to success and any business. It's the key to success of any business. Sir, with your due permission, we have few questions which our members want to ask. May I request Mr. Sai Girdhar?
Two or three questions. Sir.
Yes, sir. Only 2 or 3 questions, not more. So may I request Mr. Sai Girdhar to kindly ask this question?
Good afternoon, sir. We are really grateful that under your leadership, there have been major and drastic changes to the Central Motor Vehicle Act, which were actually most required in helping us in doing our business. And as you said, will ultimately lead to paperless and faceless registration process. Sir, for implementation of new Central Motor Act, draft rule notification were first issued in March, which probably due to pandemic were not implemented. Sir, now again in June this year, draft rule notification was issued, which are still pending. So we will request you to please, if you could give your direction and let us know by when these new rules will be implemented, which will help the act get implemented across India. Secondly, sir, as you're aware that there are still few states, namely Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Madhya Pradesh, wherein the e-Vahan portal has still not been implemented. We'll again request you to please give direction to these states to particularly come on board for implementation of e-Vahan portal. Lastly, but not least, sir, we will again request you to please empower NIC so that they don't allow state governments to make changes to the e-Vahan portal, which actually leads to dilution of the entire process of registration, sir.
My suggestion is there are three important points. Give me the details. Actually, my OSD, Kunal Joshi, is a very talented boy. Actually, he's merit first from the School of Economics. He's working with me. He has a world experience about all the things. I cannot make anything mandatory to the state government. That is my problem because it is in concurrent list. But at the same time, regarding your 2 points, please give it details to Kunal, and I will go into the details and we will implement the thing. Because of COVID-19, there was some consideration for that. But you give in the detail. When I am going to Delhi, I will get it confirmed, and we will definitely try to implement that. You give the details about it. My suggestion is whenever you need anything, please convey your problems to my office. I always go into the details because this is a technical subject. Some of the things even I don't know, but we will go into the details and we will do it. So regarding 2 points, give it to Kunal Joshi ji. I will go into the details. I will try to resolve the issues.
Thank you so much, sir. The next question, may I ask Dr. Sham to kindly ask his question?
Good afternoon. With our government keen on one nation, one tax, GST has been implemented successfully. I therefore request our Honorable Minister to let us know if implementing uniform road tax across the country is possible, sir.
Actually, I want to tell you very frankly and fairly, this is a subject in a concurrent list. In our democratic system, we have three lists. One is state list and other is central list. The subject which are in the state list, where the state government is responsible for making law and other thing. They are making legislation for that. For the central laws, central government, parliament will make the laws and the central government is responsible. The third list is the concurrent list, where both state and central both have right to make the law. Fortunately or unfortunately, these all comes into the concurrent list. And I am taking lot of decisions. Some of the decisions in my hands where I can implement that. But some of the decisions are in the hands of the state government. And you actually know that when I taken decision to make this law, lot of state government oppose me. And they are talking about that I am attacking their autonomous rights, what they have. That was the feeling at that time in the mind of the states. So my suggestion is, why you are not creating public pressure in the state? Why you are not meeting with public representatives? Even you can talk with the media people and create a pressure for good thing in the state by which it can be possible. I cannot give any mandatory direction to the state government because these are the subject in the concurrent list. I am of the firm opinion that country have one national permit and that total system we can implement it with our IT systems. I'm ready for that. Even I feel that people don't need to come to offices. Either it is RTO office or my office or government office. Everything should be used by the system, so we can develop the softwares and we can go ahead. Even for intelligent traffic system also we are launching. My suggestion is, as a dealer association, you should create awareness in the mind of the people. You can support the NGOs, social organization and political organization indirectly to raise this issue. You can create positive atmosphere and public pressure on the government for taking decisions. You can get media support also, convincing them. So somewhere off the record also, I am expecting something you should do. It is not possible to give direction from the central government to the state government. It is we have a democratic country. We have a federal character of the constitution. And that is the reason that we need cooperation from the state government. And many of the things there, the system in the state government, because of lot of vested interest, the administration, they don't want to take the decisions. There are some good people, they are taking decisions. So for that reason, your support, your public pressure, your relationship with media, if you can use, and by helping social organization and political leaders also, if you can raise the issue, then it can be possible.
Thank you.
I am trying, I am doing my level best, but certainly I have some limitation to implementation of this type of permits system.
Thank you, sir. We have Mr. Nikun Sanghi with us. He wants to ask the last question. Nikunji, over to you.
Nikunji, you are mute. Nikunji, you are mute.
Mute pe.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, let me thank you once again for bringing dealers on the MSME platform. Sir, the government has also got a very strong and a very powerful skilling program. And as our president has said, we have 45 lakh people employed by us. We don't displace them from their domicile, and we skill them and make them permanent employees, and they get permanent employment. There is a very powerful scheme of national apprenticeship program, a simplified scheme which the government has launched, where we can take 10% of our employees and give them apprenticeships, sir. Sir, the present system of NAPS is slightly complicated, specifically for small dealers. If under the MSME scheme, the apprenticeship program which the government has launched and our Honorable Prime Minister is continuously promoting it, if that could be simplified for MSMEs, a lot of more people will get skilled, will get employed, and we will be able to also contribute a lot in making India accident free. So your support there will be very, very valuable, sir.
You are absolutely correct. Mr. Deep Verma, he's here, he's sitting here. Actually, my suggestion is immediately you prepare your suggestion and what are the negative points in the scheme and what type of support you need from the MSME department, and immediately send it to me. 100% I will try to resolve the issue and we will support you. He is here in my Nagpur office. You take the email number from the Ashish Kale and send it to immediately to Deep Verma, who is working for MSME and Khadi Gramodyog. He is OSD for my office. So immediately I will go into the details and I will try to do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was very kind of you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now request Mr. C.S. Vigneshwar, Secretary FADA, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks and bring this interactive session to an end.
Namaskar. It's my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks at this August event. I wish to extend our deep gratitude and thanks to our Honorable Minister of Road Transport and Highways and MSMEs, Shri Nitin Gadkari ji, who has been a pillar of support for FADA. Sir, I am really thankful to your guidance time and time again. Every time we come to you for your advice and seeking your guidance and going forward, you've always been there to guide us through good times and also through times of uncertainty, having a word of wisdom for association each time we come to you. Your vision for cleaner fuels, corruption-free governance, and ease of doing business has always been a theme from which we all have benefited from. Sir, today we are standing at a point where FADA and our members have been benefited by being recognized as MSMEs. And we have you to thank for this, sir, for making this possible. And this will greatly help our businesses going forward. We've also benefited from the Skill India initiatives that we have passionately promoted over the years. And we have again benefited from this. Sir, we would like to seek your support and guidance in the future too, and request you to continue guiding us. Thank you, sir. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, our session comes to an end. Vinkesh, would you like to say something before the
Yeah. So thank you. We met 2 days before and you were good enough to give us time. We'll be touching base with you regularly and have to your support and guidance on this. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
The WebEx platform, the delegates who have joined us through the link and on our Facebook page. With this, our session comes to an end. Thank you for being part of this interactive session which FADA hosted for all of you. Have a good day and see you soon once again. Thank you.